power of the heart, finding your inner wisdom.
The power of the heart, finding the power of the heart. The power of the heart.
Power of the heart.
让我们寻回心的力量。The
Power of the heart.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Yu Chao. You are tuning in to the Power of the Heart on Dai Radio. Children have very pure hearts. When seeing the world through their eyes, clarity comes back to us. In Jingsi bookstores, there are many children volunteers. They also listen to Dharma Master Cheng Yan's morning Dharma talks to learn. Their notes give us a glimpse into how to practice Dharma in our daily life. During the time Dharma Master Cheng Yan taught a parable in Lotus Sutra about the house on fire, a young child drew her notes as she listened. The moral of the story is to show us that there are a lot of suffering in all life forms. Starting from birth, going through aging, illness, and eventually ended with death. In her notes, she drew a picture of a woman with a big belly, which means that this woman is about to give birth. Then she drew another picture of an old person with a cane to express old age. She also drew a person lying on a bed with IV drip to express illness. Of course, her last picture simply showed death. So in these very simple and clear pictures, she showed her understanding of suffering in each stage of life, from birth, aging, illness to death. From her notes, we can see she really understood Dharma Master Cheng Yan's teaching. Besides drawing pictures or taking down notes, another child had a lot of realization connecting Dharma to his daily life. Using the same parable, there was a conversation between this little boy who attended morning Dharma talks and his mom. His mom asked him, "Who do you see being the one in burning house?" He replied, "My sister." His mother checked with him to make sure he understood. "So you think your sister is inside this burning house?" He confirmed and said, "Yes, because she was mad at me." Then his mother asked him, "Well, what do you do then?" He answered, "Of course, she has to leave the burning house." Her mother asked him again, "If she leaves the burning house, did that solve all her problems?" He said, "Of course, that will solve her problem." You see, this little boy is only 6 years old, and yet, look at the Dharma in his conversation with his mother. After attending morning Dharma talks, they can analyze situation on hand to see the underlying Dharma. Their dialogue is both enlightening and exactly on the mark. Even the 6 years old boy can understand the Dharma and immediately apply to solve daily problem. So we really need to seize the time and opportunity to learn Dharma. Dharma is for all people, from the young to the old. Life is truly very short. We never know what will happen tomorrow or even the next second. So we really have to seize time to do the right thing. If young children can take the Dharma to heart and use it in their daily life, we can all do it if we put our mind to it. In our program today, we'll begin with a reading of Dharma Master Cheng Yan's teaching about the repentance from a beef noodle shop owner. She used to prepare all sorts of meat dishes every day for her business. She ended her beef noodle shop and planned to open a vegetarian restaurant. This shows that if we truly see the law of karma, we'll know what are the right things to do in our life and in our work. We shall not kill in order to make a living. To see things clearly and to know the right things to do will take wisdom. Only by diligently learning Dharma and embracing Dharma can we attain wisdom and enlightenment now. The following reading is provided by Dharma Master De Ling. Then, after a short break, we'll discuss this teaching with Miss Diana Kwa.
search of our souls. Love's held in hearts, not hands alone. Love's our small wish for you to enjoy. We wish you forever peace and joy. Love walks tall while sharing smiles. Love's found in silent gratitude's eyes. Love's giving more than yesterday. Believing strong, brave and not afraid. Give love openly as the sun shines warm light on you and me across every distance. So show our love, dare to dance. Spread love readily, pave the long road ahead tenderly. Your soothing blessings heal all pain and suffering. Sharing smiles. Love's found in silent gratitude's eyes. Love's giving more than yesterday. Believing strong, brave and not afraid. Give love openly as the sun shines warm light on you and me across every distance. So show our love, dare to dance. Spread love readily, pave the long road ahead tenderly. Your soothing blessings heal all pain and suffering.
You are listening to The Power of the Heart.
The Power of the Heart, Part 4, To Turn Things Around, The Power of Repentance. Today we will be listening to the teaching on A Modern Sutra, Real-Life Stories of Repentance. In today's times, many people think of Buddhism as a religion with abstruse teachings seemingly disconnected with everyday affairs. Back in the Buddha's time, however, the teachings he gave were very down-to-earth, practical, and relevant to daily life. In giving teachings, the Buddha's aim was to help people to understand the truth of life. Being so, he made sure to teach in a way that people could easily understand and practice. As the teachings have been passed down over the millennia, however, they have become more complex and difficult to understand. Many people practice Buddhism mainly by reciting sutras. They believe that by doing this, especially by reciting repentance texts, they can create merit and eliminate their negative karma. Actually, the true way to eliminate our negative karma is by self-reflecting, repenting our wrong actions, and changing our ways. In Tzu Chi, there are many real-life stories of people who once did bad things but have been inspired to change. Through self-reflection, they realize the error of their ways and have turned their lives around. For some, the change has been so dramatic that even their friends and acquaintances say that they are like a completely different person. These people show us that it is in fact not so hard to change. Their example inspires us to realize that the Buddha's teachings are in fact very connected to our everyday sufferings and can transform our lives if we practice them. These stories are truly modern sutras. The following is a real-life story written based on information from Da'ai News, Tzu Chi Monthly, or the Tzu Chi website. The courage to do what's right. I used to prepare meat dishes every day for our noodle eatery. When I first learned about the law of karma, I was tormented knowing how our work created negative karma. My husband thought about ending the business, but as we have a family to raise, how are we to support our family if we closed our business? We were in a very difficult position. After learning about the water repentance teachings, we have come to understand karma even more deeply. We know that life is short, so if we keep creating negative karma in the little time we have, we must bear the consequences of our actions. That's why we came to the conclusion that we had to end our business as soon as possible. Tzu Chi volunteer, Miss Chen Chun-ying. Miss Chen Chun-ying and her husband opened a beef noodle eatery in the year 2000. They had very good business, with close to 200 customers per day. However, their lives were not easy. Miss Chen's father-in-law suffered from long-term illness, while her mother-in-law required long-term kidney dialysis. She and her husband also had 2 school-aged daughters. Moreover, she had to help take care of her ill elder brother. Due to their need for money and the steady income the eatery provided, they continued their business. After they opened their beef noodle eatery, they came into contact with Tzu Chi and became donating members. Gradually, they got involved in Tzu Chi activities and became certified Tzu Chi volunteers in the year 2004. In 2003, the SARS epidemic broke out and Tzu Chi started to more strongly promote vegetarianism. Ms. Chen was involved in promotion activities in her community. She learned about the need to go vegetarian to respect and protect the life of animals, but she and her husband ran a beef noodle eatery, so they were responsible for the killing of animals and preparation of meat every day. They were tormented by this. They knew that their business of taking the lives of animals for profit is not good, but they had a family they needed to feed. They became vegetarian, but could not stop selling beef noodles. Running the eatery had become a struggle of conscience for them. Early in 2011, Ms. Chen participated in the sutra adaptation of the water repentance text. From this activity, she and her husband learned about the repentance practice and even more about eating vegetarian and the law of karma. They came to understand that killing animals will mean reaping karmic retribution. Moreover, the passing away of both Miss Chen's father-in-law and her ill brother in the past year and a half made the couple ponder deeply about the law of karma and think more seriously about ending their beef noodle business. Finally, after 10 years of business, they decided to close the eatery on February 28, 2011. Just 2 days prior to their closing date, Ms. Chen's mother was diagnosed with cancer and needed chemotherapy. Yet this did not change the couple's decision to close their business. She and her husband had finally reached the point where they could stop creating the negative karma of killing and also prevent their customers from creating the negative karma of eating meat. When their friends and relatives found out about this, they were very worried about them. "You have 2 school-age children. This is a period where you need money the most. How are you going to support your family?" Ms. Chen's husband replied, "We're still young and in good health. As long as we work hard, it won't be hard for us to find work or even to start a new business." Ms. Chen and her husband are planning to open a vegetarian restaurant. Now that she has turned vegetarian, she smilingly says that if they do open a vegetarian restaurant, they can share their experience eating vegetarian with their customers.
Hello everyone, my name is Diana. I'm from New Jersey. My favorite Jingsi aphorism is, "Every day is like the unfolding of a book, each person a lively essay." This teaching from Master Zhen Yan helps me to seize each day, make the most of it, and everyone I meet to show them love and compassion and to listen to their stories because it could inspire me, or share my stories with them to inspire them. So may wisdom and inspiration be with you always.
Your
You are listening to The Power of the Heart.
Our special guest today is Miss Diana Kwa. She was a Ziqing herself, and now she's a lead volunteer for our Ziqing Development Program here in New Jersey, U.S. Welcome to the program, Diana. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Why do you choose to volunteer with Tzu
I joined when I was in college, when I was at Ziqing, and I think once I joined, I just loved it because the volunteers here are so nice, they're so warm, and one of the reasons, well, I wanted to give back too, but I think when I joined Tzu, I got more than that. More than me giving back, I actually learned a lot, and the whole self-improvement part, kind of made me want to keep coming back because I want to continually improve myself. And also, when I kind of come into some kind of life obstacles, Tzu helped me overcome them in a much smoother way. So I feel very lucky that I was able to join Tzu.
Yes, we all do feel that if you understand the benefit volunteering in Tzu, we feel very blessed to have this opportunity knowing about Tzu. Now, you are a lead volunteer for our youth development program here in New Jersey. Why do you decide to focus your energy on the youth volunteer program here?
Like I mentioned, I joined when I was at Ziqing, and what I got from Tzu and what I was able to do here, it really made my quality of life so much better and so much easier, and made my relationships with my family and my friends so much better that I kind of want to give that back to the youth, and hopefully that I can help them when they come through life obstacles to be able to overcome it just as smoothly as I have through master's teaching, through all the love that I get here when I come here to help out and work out. And then my other reason is because a lot of our youth here in New Jersey, they're English speaking. So I grew up here. My main language is English. I learned a lot of Chinese in Tzu, but I also want to kind of translate and be the messenger of our Tzu culture into the mainstream local Americans. So to use that language and touch more hearts.
It is indeed very important to speak the local language because we know how special and how unique Tzu and Tzu volunteers are. But if we don't speak the same language, it's very difficult to reach out and touch people's heart and inspire them to follow on this path we believe is the most correct path to be on. So for you to be able to start as a Ziqing in here, did you have an English program when you started here? Are you part of the English program, or you yourself have to develop this English program here for the newer generation of youth?
Actually, when I started, there was no English program. It was, we had to learn, Chinese, and we had to learn our Tzu lingo in a sense, because of course, there's Chinese and then there's Tzu language. But now we are starting. So we're at like the very beginning of that. Obviously, all over globally, we are translating everything into English, so the resources are much more now currently, and it's easier for me to take those resources and then create like a English training program. So like recently we actually did a Tzu Chisao training all in English and using, what the resources that we have from all over. So it was awesome.
Right now with Dai TV and Dai Radio, that's what this media is trying to do, to, like you say, be a messenger, to spread the news of what's going on in the world so that we see the truth of what's happening more deeply and understand it more clearly. Then a lot of issue or problem in life may seem to be easier to understand, that we may have a better way of dealing with it. For example, the global climate change and all this air pollution and pollution to the food that we are dealing with. Very often we see news about mad cow disease or the foot-and-mouth disease. And when we see all this is because of the bad karma we created for killing all these living beings, that's not necessary to keep our body from functioning day to day. And that's why we start encouraging everyone to become a vegetarian. What's your experience on encouraging others to be a vegetarian?
Well, with my youth group, we definitely promote environmental protection. And when we do that, we make them aware that a major part of environmental protection here is becoming vegetarian. If we want to save the earth, if we want to help the earth slow down its rate of decline, we encourage that people become vegetarian or try to beginning steps of becoming vegetarian. So we've been encouraging it in the younger youth and like for the little kids and older kids and college kids. So I'm a vegetarian. So I emphasize how important it is, not only through environmental protection, because that's what actually connects with the people here, is you talk about environmental, and then from environmental you break off into vegetarian, and then they start to realize, and then they think about it more, and they're more accepting of that. So then the younger generation, I think they are more aware of that. And there's so much information out there that you can tell them that additional to environment, it's also better for your body, and you're young now. And as you get older, you want to make sure that you continue having that healthy body so that you can give back, do more. So, so we come in from all aspects to encourage vegetarian. We come in from environmental, we come in from nutritional wise. And of course, we also talk about, karma and how, that affects our life path kind of thing. So
what are some of the excuses that you often hear from youth nowadays in your community saying like, oh, I don't know, become vegetarian, is it difficult? Because it would be great if everyone would talk to just get so inspired and they agree and they become vegetarian just like that. But we all know there are a lot of challenges out there. What are some of the challenges you face when you're trying to convince people to become vegetarian?
I think in the beginning, the major challenge is that when I talk to youth, they go home, they don't have control over their meals. Their parents are. So then you kind of have to touch their parents, and say, oh, encourage them to have more vegetarian meals. But when you're only talking to the youth and you're not interacting with the parents as much as you would like, or they already have a certain mindset, then it's hard to convince the parents to change the cooking for the kids so that they can become vegetarian. So the kids are willing to, but because they really have no control over it. But then we make them a little bit more proactive, say, oh, well, it'll be nice, like it'll be very xiaoshun, right, if you cook for your parents. So then you could cook a vegetarian meal for your parents, so that'll make your parents realize like, oh, it's not so bad being vegetarian, and it's okay. So that's one of the major things we see. Another one is, peer pressure. They go back to school and not everybody is vegetarian, so they would feel like they're outside, and especially in high school, that's very important. They want to feel a part of the group. They don't want to feel like they're different or outside. So that is a big thing that they have to come in contact with, that stops them from being vegetarian. But when they come to our activities, they're very willing. They're not, they don't whine or moan or wish. But when they put into back to their community, society where it's not as popular, then it's a little hard for them. But, we tell them, well, you try, maybe in the morning, for meals in the morning, if you can't because you're out, in the afternoon or something. But I think as they start feeling like there's a big wave of change when more and more people are, they would also go with that. And I think one of the comments earlier on was, oh, I don't feel healthy if I just eat vegetarian, or that, oh, I need to have a little meat to feel like I'm nourished and stuff. But like I said, I do a lot of research when I provide them this information, and when you have that information, you provide it to them, and you could tell and prove to them with scientific fact that you don't really need meat in your diet to be healthy and nutritional. That no longer is an issue for them anymore. It's just being mainstream. So I feel like we really need to also reach out, other than in our Tzu Chi group, to reach out locally so that there is a wave of change. So if we see in the U.S., in some areas it's more acceptable, more options, and other areas it isn't. So I think, that's the major conflict that we have here.
We have to overcome all these conflicts and difficulty. But one thing you mentioned that's very interesting is some people will say, I don't know, maybe I need a little bit of meat in my diet to feel that I am not losing out my nutrition, so I can concentrate. And I remember Albert Einstein is a vegetarian. So I encountered that similar excuses from people before, and I will ask them, if you want to be as smart as Albert Einstein, you should be a vegetarian. And that totally just stopped them and made them think again about vegetarian diet and what we thought we need to function smartly. Thank you very much, Diane, for your time. Our time is up today. We'll be listening to this book over the next several episodes. Please join us next time to continue our discussion on the power of the heart. If you want to read this book we're talking about, you can find a copy of this book in any Jingsi bookstore and cafe. For more teaching from Dharma Master Cheng Yen, please tune in next time to our program. Goodbye and have a great day.
Never lose courage, never lose hope. You've got the power to feel and to cope. Be forgiving towards others. Remain in peace inside yourself. Never lose courage, never lose hope. You've got the power to feel and to cope. Be forgiving towards others. Remain in peace inside yourself. We cannot love when filled with suspicions. We cannot trust when filled with doubts. We cannot live unwilling to believe. The only way to live is living with love. Never lose courage, never lose hope. You've got the power to feel and to cope. Be forgiving towards others. Remain in peace inside yourself. We cannot love when filled with suspicions. We cannot trust when filled with doubts. We cannot live unwilling to believe. The only way to live is living with love. To live in peace, we must have inner peace. To have inner peace, we must have a clear conscience. We bring peace and bliss to those around.